Example 2, we're going to interpret data and write inequality statements. Mary is comparing the rainfall totals for May, June, and July. The data is reflected in the table below. Fill in the blanks below to create inequality statements that compare the changes in total rainfall for each month, the rightmost column of the table. So if we first look at the table, they give us our months of May, June, and July. The first column, or the second column, sorry, it says this. It tells us this year's total rainfall in inches. Third column tells us last year's. And then the final column, the rightmost column, tells us the change in rainfall, the difference between the two. So we can see that May has a change of negative 1.4. What that means is it rained 1.4 inches less in May this year than the year before. June was 0.3. That means it rained 0.3 inches more this year than it did last year. And July was 0.5. Means it rained 0.5 inches more this year than last year in the month of July. Now we're going to write an inequality that puts these values, changes, in order from least to greatest. The smallest of those three numbers is going to be the negative 1.4. It's the only negative number, and negative numbers are farthest to the left on the number line. Since we're going from least to greatest, we're going to put the less than symbol in there. Then we'll have 0.3 less than 0.5. The largest of those three values is 0.5 if we were to compare them. Now if we go from greatest to least, we start with the largest value, 0.5. We use the greater than symbol. 0.3, greater than symbol, and then negative 1.4, which is the smallest of those numbers. Now the last question says, in this case, does the greatest number indicate the greatest change in rainfall? Explain. The greatest number of those three was 0.5. However, it doesn't represent the greatest change. The greatest change would be negative 1.4. We're going to use a concept called absolute value, which we're going to learn in future lessons, that will talk about the greatest change. So we would answer this, no, the greatest change was in May. Okay. It changed 1.4 inches less, which is still a greater change than 0.5. And 0.